say, well, come back to your home. Here it is. Here's the key. It's finished. We've done all the rental work. And then I would go in there and try to finish it. I would just make a mess of the whole thing. That's what some people do, you see, when it comes to faith. They make a mess of it. They try to improve on or earn or somehow get credit for that which Jesus has already done. So when did Jesus finish faith? Well, I go back to the key verse here that I've now been talking about for, I suppose, the last 10 minutes, Hebrews 12:2. Jesus, the author and finisher of faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and has sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. He has sat down. There is a finality to that. So I submit that Christ sitting down at the right hand of God's throne finishes faith. It's over. It's finished. When Jesus sat down, this is the teaching if we had time, we could dig into Hebrews chapter 3 and Hebrews chapter 4, where it talks about this area, how Jesus rested. He sat down. It talks about how God rested at the end of creation, and then how Jesus went to heaven and he sat down. So to some people, that's not a big deal. They think that Jesus' death on the cross is a big deal, and it is a big deal. They think that Jesus' resurrection from the dead is a big deal, and it is a big deal, huge deal. I just commented about how big it is. But that Jesus sat down, it is equally big. Because when he sat down, it was not because he needed rest or because he was tired. It was because the work was already finished. And so when we look at faith, we say faith is something that Jesus has authored and finished. And then we receive from God by the hearing of faith. Oh, this is so wonderful. Maybe all you've heard about faith is that you need to work harder. You need to try to get more faith. Now you're hearing about a faith that is already finished on your behalf. And Paul talks about this in Galatians 3. Did you receive the Spirit by the works of the law, by your religious efforts, or by the hearing of faith? Did you hear about this faith, this amazing faith that Jesus has authored and finished? Did you hear about that? And he has given you this faith when he gave you the new life, when he saved you, when he forgave your sins, when you received the forgiveness of your sin, I should say. At that moment, you receive faith. Have you heard of that? Then Paul continues his rhetorical question here in the 5th verse. He who supplies the Spirit to you and works miracles among you, does he do it by the works of the law or by the hearing of faith? How does it happen for you? Miracles, how do they happen? And I submit they happen because you are hearing of a faith that is different even from the Old Testament heroes. You're hearing about a faith that is not your effort, is not you trying to have faith, is not you trying to work it up, it's not hype. It is a faith that Jesus has authored and Jesus has finished. And now it's there for you to use. Oh, I tell you, this so much set me free. Because all my life I wanted to have faith. In fact, it would seem silly to